Hello, thanks for joining us tonight on Getting Real with Siren Soapbox. That's getting real, since I can't pronounce words these days. It's like a book club, but with movies, and we add a Siren Soapbox twist, and we try to have a movie themed challenge. If you like what you're listening to, join the group on Facebook by the same name, Getting Real, REEL, with Siren Soapbox. There you can vote on the next movie that we're going to watch. You can see all the posts and join in on the conversation. All right, this time we all watched the movie Stranger Than Fiction, and our challenge was to think about the way our life would be narrated. And are we happy with that narration? What would we change if we had to change anything or wanted to change anything? And you don't have to talk about it. That could be a very personal thing, but if you want to, we're here for that. Let's dive right in. We don't do a soapbox on Getting Real, so we're just going to go around the room, if you will, and introduce ourselves and say whether or not we like the movie. Jess, you want to go first?
Siren Jess, and I give it a thumbs up, which I was actually surprised by because I'm not normally a Will Ferrell fan.
So definitely a different Will Ferrell.
Yeah. I'm not normally. He normally annoys me, so I was pleasantly surprised.
Nice.
What about you, Sarah?
I thought I was definitely not going to like it, and in fact, I didn't like it when I started watching it. But then, as it went on, I decided I really loved this movie. So that. Yep.
Yeah, I have a, when it comes to Will Ferrell, I like some of his things and I greatly dislike others. So I went into this probably with the attitude that I wasn't going to like it. And they first started chatting and the narrator was going on in the background and I kept waiting for some of his ridiculousness to break out, but it never did. And then I realized it was a serious movie. And I ended up really loving it. I would give it 2 thumbs up. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the movie. Thought it was very well done. I thought it was a great story. I would recommend it to anyone to watch it.
Nice. What about you, Mark?
Me? I liked it. I loved it. It's one of my favorite movies. It's just a great story. I'm never usually a fan of, nice wrapping things up with a bow on the end, but it was a nice twist from what you thought was going to happen towards going along. I'm a huge fan of the sets and the city of Chicago and the modern architecture that they use all throughout the movie, and just like the graphics and all of it pulled together, visually stunning. So yeah, thumbs up.
I really liked it too. I really loved the love story between Harold and, is it Anna? Is that her name? Amy? I don't remember. What's her name? I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Anna. Phone a friend. Yeah, I thought that was a great story. I thought that I don't know. I love to watch Will Ferrell's character develop throughout the story. I loved how he changed his rigidity in his daily routine, and he seemed to kind of go more with the flow, and it seemed to make him happier in the long run. And I really loved that.
My turn.
Yeah.
I'm Siren TC, and I like Will Ferrell. I'm trying to think of a Will Ferrell movie other than I can't say his name that I don't like. So I give it a thumbs up.
Yeah, I like Will Ferrell too, but this was definitely a very different guy. He was like Bill said, he was very serious throughout the whole movie. I don't think he cracked a couple of jokes, but they were like very low key, and I don't know, it was just very different.
Well, he hardly ever even smiled in the movie.
Right.
Never mind cracking jokes.
So, like I did with this movie, what I did with some of the others, which I read about them a little bit afterwards, and several different websites start their description by referring to him as a mentally unstable IRS auditor. Which I didn't really find him to be mentally unstable. Maybe
I didn't either. That's a weird description.
Yeah, I thought
socially awkward.
Yeah, maybe somewhere on the spectrum, but not necessarily mentally ill.
Yeah.
So.
Well, except for the whole hearing somebody talking in his head. I mean, there's that.
That's not usually indicative of mental stability.
Well, that's what the psychiatrist he went to, she kept insisting that he had schizophrenia. He was like, no, it's just like a voice talking to me and predicting things. And she said, I hate to sound like a broken record, but that's schizophrenia. Could you imagine, though, suddenly starting to hear something like that?
I would definitely go see a professional.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting, though, that they landed on a professor.
So I was glad that the movie, as it started to progress, it kind of indicated that hearing a voice like that constantly is unusual. It finally revealed that. I'm watching the whole thing just figuring it's like normal life. I didn't know what the point was. But then finally they showed, I guess other people don't have that voice in their head. Once I understood that, the movie made more sense. Yeah.
Bill, what does your voice sound like?
The voice in my head?
Yeah.
It sounds kind of like Morgan Freeman and Norm Macdonald's voices smashed together.
Those are both good voices.
Yeah.
I'd be okay with that. Especially if they were as funny as Norm Macdonald and with Morgan Freeman's voice.
Yeah, I think the question was figure out who might narrate your life, and that's what I would pick. I would pick Norm Macdonald to narrate it.
My voice is the head that I hear in my voice is the voice that I hear in my head all the time. So I feel like I'd have to narrate.
Oh, okay.
Plus, I don't want anyone else. I'm controlling enough. I don't need anybody else up there.
That's hilarious.
I think mine would be Dave Matthew from Dave Matthews Band, because then he could bust out the song, and he does all different voices when you see him live. So I'm gonna choose Dave Matthew.
What about you?
I don't know. So I at first was thinking the chick who voices one of the characters on The Great Nor, Jenny Slate. I was thinking Jenny Slate because I love her and I think she's an amazing voice actor. But then my thought drifted to somebody else for a reason, and I can't remember what that reason is now. I've lost it. How about you, Mark?
Kevin Costner. And I don't know if I've been seeing clips of a couple of movies that he's been in lately, and one was For the Love of the Game, the baseball movie, and it was just him like talking to himself in that movie as he's pitching, and just kind of like, I don't know, it just sounds like a good voice to carry you on your days.
Nice and soothing.
A little bit, a little raspy, a little rough sometimes, but intelligent. I don't know. I don't necessarily know that he's intelligent, but it just almost sounds professorial. So
that's a big word.
I would have.
I know, that's what I was thinking. Busting out big words tonight, Mark.
Just you wait.
I would have picked Jerry Seinfeld, but his voice gets on Dino's nerves, and so I couldn't.
He's in your head, so.
Well, I know.
Have to hear him.
But if he's laying really close to me, you might hear
it might come out of your ear into his.
That's right.
It might leak out.
Let's hear his. Who would narrate your voice?
I would pick Jerry Seinfeld. No, just kidding.
What do you say?
I'd probably pick Mel Gibson. I like his voice, and he can be humorous and also serious in all of his roles that I've seen him in. So I really like that. Either him or Tom Hanks, maybe.
Oh, that would be fun. Can I have Jenny Slate do all my speaking, but Lady Gaga do all of my singing? Because I got to break out in a song all the time.
Yeah, I mean, why not? You should have two. You should have two voices in your head. Somehow that just makes sense that it would end up that way.
Well, then I want a stunt double to do stunts for me. If she can have two voices, I'd like to have a stunt double.
Who would your stunt double be?
I don't know. I'm thinking about that. I'm not sure. Maybe, I don't know.
Oh, maybe Matthew McConaughey would be my voice because he's got a nice voice.
He does.
Slightly sleazy sounding voice.
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't know that I'd have picked him.
That's funny because that's one of the reasons why I think I would pick him, Sarah. That's how we differ.
Sometimes he just says things that are so off the wall. I would hope that would happen in my head as well. I don't know if he can sing though. I'm going to need somebody to sing the songs in my head and to sing my entrance song when I walk into a room. I'm going to need that.
So that's a new question. What's your walkout song?
Baseball?
Sure.
Your baseball walkout song?
Yeah. I mean, that's the idea. Or, whenever you walk into a room, you wish it would.
Thunderstruck by AC/DC. It's Thunderstruck by AC/DC. Also, my stunt double, I think, would be Morgan Freeman.
So Thunderstruck is a drinking game, Bill.
Thunderstruck is a song by AC/DC.
I know, and there's a drinking game to that song. So
it sounds like there should be. I wasn't aware of that, but there should be. But that would be my walk-up song when I came up to hit a home run.
It's just when you walk into a room. It's like your baseball walk-up song, except you're walking up to life.
Mine would be Riptide by Sick Puppies.
Oh, yeah, I like that song.
Still Dre. Yeah, with the little piano.
Yeah, nice.
It's a good. It's got a good cadence to walk to.
Do a little. That's what I'm looking for.
What's Dino's?
Do you know what's your walk-up song?
I don't know. Maybe something from Boston. I'd have to think about it.
I do know that band, but I'm having a hard time coming up with a song that Boston performs.
Yeah, I decided upon my walk-up song when I was putting together my song list based on your earlier show about a song list and your 10 song list that I was able to. Mine is now whittled down to 80.
Nice. So
whittled down to 80.
Yeah. So Bill sent us a really nice email, and I'm trying to decide how to share it with everyone. I kind of want to read it to everybody on like a recording and get your reaction, your live reaction. And then put it up on our Patreon and charge other people to hear it.
So one of the things I liked about this movie, we are talking about the movie, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. The conversation drifted.
In general, I like romantic comedies that are a little offbeat. The typical, sappy romantic comedy, not so much. But this one was a little offbeat. So when he brought her flowers, I thought that was absolutely brilliant. Here we saw in the movie that she loves to bake. She tried to bake something for him. He didn't realize it was a gift because he's so goofy. When it finally dawned on him, he literally took different flavorings of flour, baking flour, and wrapped them up individually and brought her flowers, Flour, instead of Flower. I thought that was fabulous. That was a brilliant part of the movie.
That was my favorite part of the movie, actually. I thought it was very quirky and romantic, and it reminded me of something that Mark might do.
It's always cute to know your audience. Like when I had 4 fish tanks, Ben would get me fish for like Christmas and my birthday and stuff like that. And people would be like, "He got you fish?" I'm like, "Yeah, he got
Yeah,
me
isn't that
fish."
awesome?
Like fish and rum. I mean, what else do I want? Like that's really all I want in life.
Another brilliant scene I thought was at the end, well, not at the end of her book, when the decision was made that, he has to die, and she's typing, coinciding with the events that are happening, and he's struck by the bus, and she types his name, was it Michael Crick or whatever?
Harold Crick.
Harold is DE, and she stopped. And he's lying there in the road, it's going back and forth between her paper, and he's lying there in the road looking for all the world as though he's dead, but he moves. And then she makes the change. And, like Mark said, it ends up kind of being wrapped up in a nice, neat little bow. But man, it would have been so heartbreaking if it had ended the way they all decided at first. I was satisfied that they changed that and that he was able to keep living.
Me too, man. I was really sad thinking about him. Like I felt like he had started to come out of a shell, and it was probably being faced with the prospect of dying that helped him do that. But I don't know, he seemed to be genuinely enjoying life for at least the first time since we've met him in our short little, the short time that we got to meet the character. But he, the idea of him dying and then all of that going away was just heartbreaking.
Yeah, I agree. I was worried it would. There's another movie, older one. I think Meg Ryan was in it. Maybe is it City of Angels or something?
I've never seen that movie.
I'm sorry.
I've never seen that movie.
There's
It'll make you cry.
Remember, there's something about an angel gives up being an angel because he has fallen in love with a human woman, and they have just gotten, life is just getting great because they're together, and she feels so free and wonderful. She's riding a bicycle and gets hit by a truck and killed, and then he has to live out his days after no longer being an angel on Earth. It is so heartbreaking, and I was worried that this movie was going to end up like that. It's a sad thing.
Well, it kind of seemed like it was going to. I have to admit, I was pretty surprised at the end when it turned out differently than I expected.
From personal experience, when you're not 20 years old anymore, and you find somebody, you've learned a few things in life, and you find somebody that you can share those. You take those experiences and the experiences of that person, and it just bonds together, and things click so amazingly. And then you start having a life that's better level than you had imagined, and then something kill it. That was bothering me, thinking that's what was going to happen in this movie. So again, I'm very glad that it ended.
Trixie's glad too.
I don't know. I think
Apparently so is Winston.
when I think I would have been just as happy with the movie if it had ended with him being hit by the bus, because he did that change. Like once he talked with Professor Hilbert, and he was just like, well, just live your life. Like, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? And then he went out and did it. He went out and got a guitar, started learning to play the guitar. He, got up the courage to talk to Anna and kind of go down that romantic pathway, made his friend, when he knew he was going to die, then he kind of started giving back to everybody else, and kind of really had a nice, he was okay with it. Like after he read the book, he was okay with that, knowing what was going to happen. And he just kind of lived his life fully and gave of himself to all those around him that he cared about, and was okay with it. And if he would have died at the end of the movie, I would have been okay with it, because he was okay with it. I think he was comfortable with it, and sure, he probably would have been like, oh yeah, this is great. He's like, but I've done what I needed to do. I've met all these great people and I've lived some fantastic experiences, and I'm ready.
I don't disagree with you, Mark. I think I'd have been happy with the movie had it ended that way as well. I think I'm happier with the way that it did end. But I also, and I think from his perspective, he read the ending. So he knew how this was going to unfold. And he knew that the end of his life was not going to be for naught. I mean, he was basically saving somebody else.
Right.
Yeah.
A little boy.
And I think it speaks a lot to his character, is even though he knew that was going to happen, he felt, well, I can't let that child die. So he lived through it and did it. I think that speaks a lot to the character of the person in the movie. It's interesting. We watched another movie and we talked about on here, and the question came up. I don't remember which one it was, but the question came up, would you want to know?
Big Fish.
Yes, that's right. Would you want to know? And I had said I absolutely would want to know. I think it would make it easier. And I think Harold's character, once he knew, he was able to move forward and go along with it, but was saved at the end. So,
you know, it's interesting too. I just thought about this now, but when you said that he read the book, he read the ending, he knew what was coming. All of the events that were set into place with him, you know, the day he was supposed to be hit by the bus and die, were all because his watch was like 3 minutes slow or fast or something like that. And he knew that, and he didn't reset the watch. Like, he made conscious decisions to just go about his day.
That watch thing was interesting as well, when the writer of the screenplay actually gave the watch a life of its own.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty interesting. It was an interesting twist. And then the fact that the watch ended up saving his life, in effect, by a piece of it, keeping him from bleeding to death. I just thought it was all clever little things in the movie.
Yeah, I agree. So I did a little Google searching, and this question popped up. What does Karen Eiffel learn from Harold Crick? So Karen Eiffel is the author.
The author, yeah.
I don't really know how to answer that question. Although, here, I'll tell you this. After she met him, she realized that he was a real person and she was actually narrating someone's real life. She began to think about all of the other books she had written and wondered how many people she had killed off. And she became, I don't know, it seemed like she, which is, frankly, a fiction author should not have to think about that. Because you're writing a fiction novel. You should not have to think about the people that you were murdering in real life. So I think that must have been extremely traumatic for her as a person.
We should have asked our author last night how she felt about that.
Oh yeah, that's a good. Well, but she doesn't know a Finn Fleming in real life though, or a Ray.
No, but she did know a Harry, and she talked about the fact that, you know, one thing she learned was that sometimes it's more difficult to kill off an animal than a human in a book. But even though it's fiction, I mean, think about the fictional characters that you've read over and over and over and followed, and how you miss them when the book is over. Like, think about Kinsey Milhone. What if Sue Grafton had killed her off?
Yeah, that would
have
crazy.
impacted a lot of people. It doesn't necessarily matter that they're fiction. I think that you can care about fictional characters. I don't know.
That's a good point.
I did think it was interesting, kind of back to your question, Mary, is that she decided to change the ending, even though she felt, and Dustin Hoffman's character felt, who was a professor, and had studied her work, and she was his favorite author. They felt it was the perfect novel with him dying. But once she began to think of him as a real person, not just a character in a book, she couldn't do it. And she changed it, knowing that the book would be good, but no longer great. And Dustin Hoffman's character confirmed that. It's good. It's no longer great.
Yeah.
You know, you were talking about characters dying off. I read Truman. Loved that book and felt so connected to him, even though our political beliefs are not aligned at all. But that book was written so well. And of course, I know Truman's dead, but when he died in the book, I was remarkably sad. I just felt like here's somebody that, and Tracy, he reminded me of our Granddad Schreckengost very much. And through the whole book, there were several things that happened that reminded me of Granddad Schreckengost, that's our great grandfather. And I had the good fortune of knowing him the way most people know their grandfather. So I felt close to him. And then in the book, when Truman died, I mean, it probably wouldn't be overstating it to say I mourned for a while. And so, yeah, and fictional characters, the same thing can happen.
So another question for you. Do you think Harold Crick is free to make his own choices, or is his life dictated by this author?
Repeat that, Mary.
Do you think Harold Crick is like free to make his own choices and live his life however he chooses, or is he bound by what this author writes?
I don't recall when after he kind of chose to live out change his life a bit, and you know, the guitar and Anna and all that stuff. While he was doing those things, was he being narrated?
Well, not all of his life was narrated.
No.
The parts that coincided with the book. Yes, I can't remember if all of that was being narrated. But some of his life definitely was not narrated because it didn't coincide with what she was writing.
So I would say yes, he was free.
Yeah,
because the narration was only
before.
I'm sorry, what was that, Jess?
He was doing all his stuff before he started being narrated too. So,
and the narration only seemed to be, and like what he had told the professor was that or the psychologist or psychiatrist, it was happening. He was being narrated of things that he was doing or did, not things that he was going to do. So it was like he was walking down brushing his teeth. He was brushing it each however many times and taking however many steps, but it wasn't that he's going to take these steps or he's going to brush his teeth. It was, this is what he was doing. It was a real-time narration. So I don't know that it was.
Yeah, except for the foreshadowing. Everything was real time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think he was completely released until she started writing the sequel. And then right back in it. I don't remember another movie similar to this one.
I don't either. And this is not the first time I had seen the movie. I don't remember it though from the last time. But it's a really good movie. This is something that I think I would watch over and over again.
One part of it that I'm still not comfortable fits. I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm just not certain about. Is when he ends up bringing her the flowers that he had made. But what he says to her is, "I want you." He didn't say, "I like you." He said, "I want you," and it came across to me anyway a little bit creepy.
Yeah,
because he's a guy who's very reserved, very, he doesn't catch on to her flirtatiousness. He doesn't catch on that she made those pastries for him. He's not picking up on any of that. And the first thing he does is come up and says, "I want you," and he says it more than once. But fortunately for the plot of the movie, she didn't take it badly and run away. But I just thought that was odd. I thought that choice of wording was odd.
Yeah, it was, and it was a little creepy. I agree with you. However, if he would have said anything other than that, I don't think it would have, his personality is very awkward.
True.
That's putting it mildly.
My neighbors are building a chicken coop right now. Can you hear it?
I did hear it. I wondered what was going on.
But he's so awkward that to say anything like suave or smooth would have made zero sense.
Yeah, I agree. But I think he could have said, "I like you." I think
that's true.
I think that's still awkward enough, but more in keeping with his character.
But "I want you" was more accurate, and I think that someone who is as awkward as he is probably more of a "I speak the truth" and accurate kind of person.
Yeah, maybe. It just seemed odd to me.
Yeah. So let's talk about Anna. What role do you think she played in his life, in Harold's life? I mean, obviously she was his love interest.
I don't know. She certainly sparked, and didn't seem like he had any much of a romantic interest anywhere else ever that we know of.
She was kind of his opposite, almost like a balance to him.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I think she changed his life from black and white to color.
Oh, that's a good description. I like that. Yeah, I agree with all those things. I think that, I wonder though if he had been faced with the possibility of dying, if he would have been brave enough to ask her out or to pursue that relationship.
I'm trying to remember the timing of that. I guess that all happened before they really started hanging.
Oh, yeah, you're right, Sarah. He met her on the day that the narration started happening. Because it started happening while he was in there for her audit, and the narrator was saying really inappropriate things about Anna. And he was like, it's a weird day. I got to go. See ya. I'll come back on Tuesday. Well, does anybody have any final thoughts about the book or the movie? Since we didn't read a book, we watched a movie.
If you remember when after he found out that how the book ends, and he decides he's going to live his life as much as he can until that ending comes, he spent time with Anna and they watched old movies. And one of the main movie that they were showing, that they were watching, is a movie called A Man and a Woman. So I looked that movie up and read about it. It's supposed to be a really great love story, an older movie, but I can't find it anywhere to watch it. We wanted to watch it. And so I'm still going to keep looking and see if maybe I can find it on a DVD or a Blu-ray or something, so we can watch that movie as well. I like to, when we watch movies, read books or whatever, something that's referenced in that movie or book, I then like to watch that. And sometimes it adds to the original movie or book. And so I'll let you know if we find it.
Yeah, keep us posted, Bill. That's how you ended up with 80 songs on your 10-song playlist.
It's kind of how that happens. Yeah, that's right. That's very true. That is very true.
So I think for our next movie club, it looks like we're going to meet on July 31st, Monday, July 31st. I hope that works for everybody. I think we should pick an animated movie for our theme.
Jess, it was very funny right there, because on our screen, Mary is above you. And so when you looked up at the ceiling, it looked like you looked up at her and rolled your eyes at the idea that we watch a... that was very, very funny. Like
that was my thinking face. My thinking face about what animated movie would be good.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of animation, and some of you may know that I want to be a voice actor. So,
I haven't heard that yet.
Mark and I just went to see the new Mario, the Super Mario Brothers movie, and it was so good. Loved it. So I think we should pick an animated movie. What do you guys think?
Sure. Why
All
not?
right. So,
get thinking.
Yeah. Mark, do you have a nomination? Don't say Hot Dog Party. I will break up with you.
Not Hot Dog Party. Hot Dog Party 2. I don't know is it Into the Spider-Verse? The animated Spider-Man movie that
Ooh,
was.
that's a good one.
All right, hold on. Somebody needs to take notes. Let me do that real quick.
Well, you're recording. We're recording. So
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Dina wants to throw in the original Toy Story.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of adult humor in there that is just funny as shit.
With who?
No, the original Toy Story, there's a lot of adult humor that's really
Oh,
funny.
yeah. Agreed. All right, that's on the list.
That's a cute one.
The Peanuts movie that was released a couple years ago, I thought was very good.
All right.
So it's the long version of the Peanuts movie. That was good.
All right.
And the first Lego movie that has a little Lego Batman in it. That's also and it has a very good message about freedom in it. That's a good movie.
And Will Ferrell.
Oh, and Will Ferrell. Okay. I'm gonna nominate Marcel the Shell with Shoes On.
Do not know that one.
So I love Jenny Slate, and Marcel the Shell with Shoes On is a Jenny Slate brainchild, and she
I didn't know that.
narrates him or her. I don't know.
Isn't it stop motion?
Yes. All right, so that's 5. Does anybody else have one they want to nominate? All right.
Oh, I'll nominate one more.
Okay.
An even 6. I can't remember the name of it, but it's an Adam Sandler. Adam Sandler did it. It's a Christmas movie.
Oh, 8 Crazy Nights.
Is that it?
I think so. That is funny. I love Adam Sandler.
That's a good little movie too. Yeah. So I nominate that one too. That brings an even 6, right?
Yep. All right, sweet. Well, I will put these out there for the world to vote on, and then the 7 of us will show up and talk about them. I don't really care if nobody else joins us because I really enjoy doing these. So thank you guys for hanging out and humoring me tonight.
It's a good way to spend my lunch.
Oh,
I'd rather spend it with you guys.
Good. Than all by yourself, or crocheting or knitting or something.
Knitting and watching something on Amazon Prime. Currently Judge Faith. So.
Well, next it'll be the whatever animated movie we pick for the next movie club. All right. Well, if you are listening to this, you should head over to the Siren Soapbox Facebook group, Getting Real with Siren Soapbox. Be on the lookout for the opportunity to vote on one of these 6 movies that we're going to watch and then discuss on July 31st. And you'll grab a ticket in the Eventbrite page that we'll have posted. All that information will be right there for you. You can also check out our website, sirensoapbox.com. And you can get in touch with us by email, sirensoapbox@gmail.com. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. And until next time, dive in, stay curious, be happy. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Siren Soapbox, and a special thank you to C Strings for providing our music. Snag their latest EP from iTunes today. Follow the Sirens on all the social medias, and don't forget to tell your friends about us. Like and subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts. We'll catch you next time on another episode of Siren Soapbox.